What's up, everybody? You're watching The Creep Show. I'm your host, Amy, and today we have the Deftones hanging out in the studio. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming out to hang out. Once again, I'm surrounded by a bunch of dudes. So let's make it a lot.
Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, it's a total chorizo party, as they would say on the left coast, which is not where I'm from. But thanks for coming out and hanging out. First things first, I want to ask you guys just how's Chi doing, since a lot of our viewers and our readers are big fans of Deftones and are really concerned about Chi. So I figured we would start out by seeing how he's doing and what's going on that front.
Sure, Chi is he's making progress. It's slow progress, but he's making progress. It's been a little over a year and a half, I think, now since his accident, and he's holding strong. He's got a good team of doctors working with him, trying to get him to fully come out of it. He's still in a semi-conscious state, so we really won't know, what kind of cognitive damage is there until he really kind of comes out of it and, and starts communicating. But we're just hoping for the best for him, man. We miss him a lot, and we can go to the oneloveforchi.com site, which is family runs, and that's the best place to get all the information you need. The most updated information on his well-being, and then as well as ways that you can help find out, ways to help out.
And do you guys think too, with you did the benefit show for him? Was that October? Was it October?
November.
November of last year. You did a benefit show for him, and it seemed like that got a lot of really good response. Do you think you'll do something else like that? Or?
Definitely. I mean, we plan on trying to find many different ways of ways to earn money and to help out. His family still definitely needs help. I mean, even though he has insurance. A lot of the doctors that are actually working on right now, a lot of that stustuff's not covered, and he needs around the clock, nurses and things, for him. So it is. His family definitely needs help. We're doing what we can, and we encourage everybody else to do what they can.
Right on. Well, that's definitely. We encourage everybody who's watching this to check out One Love for Chi. The web, is it .org or is it .com? One Love for Chi, it's CHI.com, so that people can do what they can to help and to stay informed about it, because he was a really obviously important part of the community and of your music, of the band. So, and let's talk about the new album which came out. You had to bump up the release date of Diamond Eyes because it had leaked. Was that like totally crazy, like making you scramble, or do you realize that that's like the world we live in today?
I think we only bumped it about 2 weeks.
Was it 2 weeks, right? So I thought it was May 18th was supposed to be the original release date.
But May 4th.
Yeah, so how did you guys feel about the music leaking and
We knew it was going to leak. We didn't know it would leak 2 months beforehand, but we wished it could have been a little closer to the release. But for us, what are you going to do? It's going to. I mean, for everybody, what are you going to do? It's it happens. For us though, we've always been a band that has relied on word of mouth. You know what I mean? As far as to get the word out there on our band, and so it's really. The only good I think I could look at is that we made a great record and people are talking about it right now, and people have been talking about it actually since they've been hearing it, and they're still talking about it, so that's good.
Yeah, that's important. I feel like the first time I heard Rocket Skates, the first time I heard that song, I was like, wow, because the way we had the scissors here earlier. I thought that would have been a good prop for guns, razors, knives, and change the lyric to scissors. But I feel like that song, when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this sounds like, and I don't want to say, like, it doesn't feel like this album should be in between, Around the Fur and White Pony, like some, music critics would say. I don't think it fits there. I think it takes elements of Adrenaline, Around the Fur, White Pony, the self-titled release, and Saturday Night Wrist, and puts it all together. But I still think it's probably one of the heaviest records that the Deftones have ever done. And I always say that what I feel from the Deftones is it's like you guys have like that tension musically, like you love Meshuggah and you have more of like a new wavy, and PJ Harvey, I remember always reading that you were like super into that, and I think that's what makes the Deftones music so great, is that push and pull between the heavy and the more quiet, loud thing. And I think this album really takes it to the next level. And when you guys write music and do that, is that like a conscious thing? Do you guys like have like, I've talked to other bands who have like the singer guitarist that's in the canon of rock music. Do you guys have that?
I think that happens, but it happens between all of us. And I think it's a misconception that it's him and I that, because I like Meshuggah probably just as much as he does, and he also likes all kinds of, music. We all have a lot of different influences. Yeah. But when we try to make records, I mean, that's the only idea that we go in, just like, let's, bring all our influences, filter them through us, and make some music. That's, not trying to recreate something we did in the past, but something that's futuristic, but, that's inspiring to all of us, individually and together collectively.
The truth is, though, quite honestly, like Frank and I haven't spoken in 6 months, and I don't think I would be speaking to you anytime soon. So there's where the tension lies.
You notice he's just getting more black eye.
And let me guess, where did that come from? You? So what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I was saying that really what it's about is that everyone comes in and brings good energy, and they just come in with just like a focus and just like an intent to just make something that's really hot. And you like things not because of what it is, but because of how it makes you feel.
Sure.
And that's the way that we approach.
No matter what,
making music.
all the new songs we write, it's always going to sound like something we've done in the past, but it's just
Right.
a matter of how we
Well, it's the
make
Deftones
them.
sound.
Exactly, you know what I mean? It's not too cool when everyone always wants to reference it to an older record or whatever, you know.
But I see the dichotomy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with the song like Diamond Eyes, the title track, for instance, where it's a heavy riff-based song, just the chugging of the guitar and like, maybe
It wasn't
it's-
born that way, though.
What's that?
That song wasn't born out of that riff, though. That song came
Out of
from
what?
Sergio and Abe were jamming. I just happened to just, I was throwing some little chunks on the top of it,
Yeah.
really.
Even still, though,
Chunks.
musically, it was
that's
an
what's-
aggressive. It was a really super aggressive song, and my initial instinct was to, just kind of go along with it and just make all the vocals just at the top of whatever. But I really, I mean, what I like to do is kind of see what other way I can approach it. You know what I mean? And that's what I ended up doing, and doing that, took a melody and sailed all through in and out of what was jagged, and smoothed it out a little bit. And I think that dichotomy is kind of what makes Deftones Deftones, I think.
I think so too. I definitely think it's that there's definitely a tension, and it feels like there's the two forces pushing against each other, and that's what makes me love the music so much. And I think that the perfection of that was on the White Pony, which I said earlier is my favorite album of the OOs, and a lot of great albums came out in the OOs, but that album is like a pinnacle for me. It's just like the order of the songs, the quiet, the loudness, just the lyrics, everything, the guitars, drums, everything about that album I love. So. And then when the self-titled record came out, and then, Saturday Night Wrist to me felt like that record felt like it was a little disjointed. It feels like that wasn't, the Deftones' best effort. But when you guys came back with Diamond Eyes, I feel like this record really feels like all the pieces really, really fit.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, yes, of course it is. I hope you guys agree with it.
No, I mean, that record was recorded over a long period of time. And,
Which one was? You say Saturday Night Wrist or?
Saturday Night Wrist.
Okay, right.
Many
3-year
different
period,
locations too, man.
Many different locations, a lot of,
And maybe that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
when I
and
listen to it.
so disjointed. I see how you can come up with that where it was kind of like at the end it was like a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and it was all put together in a record. Whereas to this record was written all together, at one time frame, and actually a short time frame, like 2 months. Is when we started writing it, and we took another couple months to record it, and a few months to record it. But so the whole process from the time we started to we finished was like a 6-month window, which it's really super fast for us.
Yeah, that's especially if it took you how long for the last many years for the last one. So for you working with the Deftones, like how's this experience been? I know you've toured with the band before with Quicksand, and what's I guess tell us a little bit about your experience, because these guys have been working together for so long, and you're somewhat new to the experience. They're watching you.
It was
Circle
the
of
best
trust.
time,
And go.
and continues to be the best time of my entire existence.
I bet.
And
It feels like you were just born, right?
like
They
born
created
again, born
you.
over every second.
They created
it's like,
you.
Right, there was no past and nothing ever came before. Honestly, like the most amazing thing about it was coming into it, and then like you had said, you were referencing this allusion towards the tension and towards this thing, and coming in, I had heard so much about that, traveled with the band before, never really experienced that, but then wasn't sure, what I would step into. And I came into just a group of cats who really just dig each other. And what was most impressive was that they all have a wealth of ideas. They're all just pouring out things. But at the same time, they're like excited about each other's, and they were very inclusive. And, that was a really good feeling, just like.
Yeah, Vega missed out on our. He was that window of time when it was chaotic.
He wouldn't have been around for that. He would have left.
He was there right before that.
I came in before
then he
that.
left,
Yeah, so everything
and
was
then it
all
went
like,
bam!
It's like, man, it's bubbly. I'm like, yeah. And then I came back and I'm like, wow, this is lovely.
Rainbows
so I'm
and
like, I
green
don't know
orchards.
what anyone's
Right,
talking about.
unicorns, all that.
All
good
that
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, yes.
So it's been a good experience. One thing too about the Deftones, I remember when you guys were like, I wouldn't say when you were first starting out, even through the White Pony, you guys toured all the time. It's like you could see the Deftones probably like 4 times a year. You guys don't tour as much as you used to, which most bands, as they get deeper into their career, they don't tour as much. Just talk a little bit. We know you're going to be doing this tour with Mastodon, Alice in Chains in the fall. What is it? Black Diamond Sky, right? Okay, because I can think it was Mountain or Skull for Mastodon. So Black Diamond Sky. This is a really massive tour. I think Alice in Chains has had like a great, don't call it a comeback, and Mastodon is, really great band as well, and it's a great like package of bands that is something different for all the fans. Are you guys? What are some of your plans for that tour? Do you know if you guys are gonna like break out any cool merch? You're gonna have any pull out some old songs that you haven't played in a long time? Are you gonna really focus on the new album, or do you not? Are you not thinking that far in
No,
advance yet?
we don't really. I mean, it'll probably be something different from what we did on the tour before. From the night before. I mean, every night we try to keep our shows set list different every night. We try to
Some
bring in
Weezer
different
covers
songs.
get pulled out. I always
everything.
like
I mean,
that.
yeah, there's a lot to draw from. Like there's 6 albums worth of material.
Sure.
Where we put energy into just playing a lot from every album, and we're kind of really focused on just bringing a level of excitement. So we're not really like about this set or that set, because we also know that people, with social networking and social media, and just the internet in general, that people are aware of our set. So our set lives on beyond that night. So we feel like you should be dynamic and just keep it moving.
One thing we have been doing, we've been playing a lot of